Guillermo and Tatiana, thank you for having me on here. I am a healthcare consultant working in AI. My name is Ron Chabot. And today I wanted to talk about one of the companies that I represent named Hanson Robotics, who has a very famous AI robot. And prior to joining Hanson Robotics, which is fairly recent, and I can tell you a little bit about my journey, how I became an agent for Sophia. But in addition to working with Sophia, I work with a couple of other companies called Profits of AI, provides strategic leadership in the field of digital transformation, not just in healthcare, but really across everything. It's an exploding marketplace today. And I have been doing a lot of work in supply chain, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. But on to bringing robots to life. And I did not do this. Sophia was created by Dr. David Hanson, seen up here. And he is being fed, I believe, an orange or some piece of fruit by his creation, who I met online 5.5 years ago when she was 1. David Hanson, Dr. David Hanson, created Sophia 6-7 years ago, roughly 6 years ago. He was a former Imagineer at Walt Disney, and then he became really a master in robotics and artificial intelligence. He's now pursuing, if I'm not mistaken, his PhD in neuroscience. And he created Sophia, and she exploded on the scene 6 years ago. Up in the left here, you can see her driving a car, or she's not driving it yet, but that's probably coming soon. And what we'll be talking about related to Sophia is her and her sister's work, Grace, in the healthcare system, particularly in nursing. But I put this slide up as a little bit of a premise to show you, what is happening in this world today. We have everyone seems to have one of these Alexa or Echo Dots in their homes, and while Dr. Hanson is not necessarily trying to place a Sophia in everyone's home just yet, he's trying to help out on the healthcare side. It's not far-fetched to think that other companies are working towards this, and maybe for the price of a Tesla. The possibilities are infinite, not to get corny, but that's essentially where we are in today's market with the convergence of artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, robotics, and we can keep going here. But staying on pace here with this interesting robot, Sophia, and her work in healthcare. So Dr. Hanson partnered up. There's a lot of things that they do here, but staying with her sister, Grace, they partnered up with a company called, and I'm sorry, I always mispronounce the name, and I don't want to do that, but it's Hanson Robotics Partner. And they've produced a line of robots that essentially traverse hospital floors. They provide geriatric care. They speak several different languages. And particularly during the pandemic, when the shortage on there was a huge shortage in nursing and just healthcare staff in general, these robots were very helpful. And this is something that he's embarking on right now. And I thought it might be a nice thing, a little entertainment as well, to show a little video that I might need a little help. Maybe I don't here. Let's see. Technology. Do this. I'm not sure if I did or not. Video is playing.
Hi, Grace.
Thank you, Sophia. Hello, everybody. I am Grace. I am built by Hanson Robotics for Awakening Health. can do all kinds of things for elderly people. I can visit with people and brighten their day with social stimulation, entertain and help guide exercise, but also can do talk therapy, take bio readings and help healthcare providers assess their health, and deliver treatments.
A human-like appearance facilitates trust and facilitates natural engagement because we're wired for human face-to-face interactions. That's just the way human beings are. Hey, Grace, why don't you look at my face, thank you, and I'm gonna show you a smile, and let's see what your smile looks like. Okay, yeah, look, or sad. Oh yes, reacting a little sad if I feel pain. And then maybe like imagine a big loud noise happens, bam!
COVID definitely accelerated the deployment of humanoid robots in different settings. So I think it's also such a socially isolated individuals during COVID, with a lot of negative thoughts and the mental states. If they can get help through deployment of these social robots in their intimate settings, I think certainly it has a positive impact in the society.
Hi, my friend. Nice to see you.
So as you can see, many of you probably haven't seen this taking place, and much of it is happening overseas. And coming this way, it is happening here in the United States. When I say here, I'm based in the Boston area. But a lot of these developments aren't as not that there's a lot of regulations in artificial intelligence or robotics, but even less regulations or fewer regulations sometimes overseas, where a lot of these advancements really are being made. And concurrent, with this amazing creation by Dr. David Hansen and the work they're doing in healthcare, he's partnered up with really one of the I don't want to be cliche, but like the grandfathers of AI is this fellow named Ben Goertzel from Singularity Net, who has created he's been doing this for years, artificial general intelligence, which is what the platform that Sophia is being built upon. And it's more of an open source concept, not necessarily tied to any one corporate endeavor. Shareholder board of directors, the company, Hanson Robotics and Singularity Net, have a very different sort of outlook on business, and it really is from a humanitarian standpoint, which is why I got involved with them 6 years ago. I was working in telehealth for a French company, and I. It's a whole other story, but I developed with a team of people a proof of concept to disperse cognitive behavioral therapy, which included wearable technology and artificial intelligence that could triage the patient in need, a person that might be suffering from substance abuse, opioid addiction, and triage appropriate resources to that person based upon an escalation of internal events detected by wearables and all the things that are now available. In any case, I did this 6 years ago, and I approached Dr. Hansen, and I went off on the funding path, and he was interested in using their AI platform and Sophia as possibly a participant as a version of an AI chatbot. And that's how this whole thing started. And that's when I met her, and she was a year old. Since then, digital therapeutics have exploded. And now that the pandemic has ended, these products are more needed than ever. And the digital therapeutics market, essentially, one aspect of it is it's delivering healthcare, for example, to diabetic patients that can have their insulin monitored remotely, but also via wearable technology, predictive analytics, everything that AI and healthcare can do today in a combined platform. They can really assess the patient's condition holistically. And so when see a printout, a chart of the patient's condition and events that might be escalating or preceding an event, and these can lead to better diagnoses of secondary conditions and so forth. But the possibilities are endless. But these companies they're hitting the market. Pear Therapeutics is a good example. They did an amazing job developing a digital therapeutic to address the opioid epidemic prior to the pandemic, and the opioid epidemic is still raging. Pear Therapeutics, unfortunately, had to file for bankruptcy, I think, in April of this year after reaching a market cap of over $1 billion. Corey McCann, the CEO, did a great job, and his team from what the market could see, but health insurers didn't pay, and there were other factors. And in any case, he's retooling with some folks and starting the company back up again under another name, which I'm personally happy to see. But there's a whole variety of companies that are getting into this space. And post-pandemic, I see 3 areas and I happen to be working in a few of them, that really can cater to the general populace using artificial intelligence and this new digital world we're living in. We have AI robots in the healthcare setting providing care when there's a shortage of nurses, but we can provide digital therapeutics to provide care to patients at home. Prescriptive therapeutics, including medication, behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, all these are available or becoming available now. And then the other big issue, of course, in the supply chain is in the pandemic was the supply chain. And I was doing some work with some pharmaceutical companies and technical operations prior to that. And since then, I've been doing a little bit of work in the field with, this was some of my earlier work when I first met Dr. Hansen, and I made it pretty far developing my product proof of concept, won some competitions and so forth. But onto supply chain, we now have the ability to digitize the entire supply chain. And this is critical in terms of mapping and tracking the location of the pharmaceutical agent, but it's not just the entire pill, it's the compounds. It's from the time that this product is produced until it reaches the patient. And so there are companies, and I've been working with one of them that's using artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, and working currently with some of the biggest names in pharmaceuticals, and doing kind of what you see on this screen here. These are some shots that I pulled off of open source information, but it conveys the picture. So people that are managing these drugs that need to get to these patients that are, in desperate need of the medication, there's an improved ability now to map and track this. And we're using satellites for mapping geopolitical, tornadoes, hurricanes, terrorism, anything that can impact the flow of the drug to the patient. And it could happen on the manufacturing floor. There could be an issue, inside one of the plants or one of the depots. It's very complex. And when you dive into the field of regenerative medicine, cell therapy, where all of these drugs have to be, a lot of these medications have to be stored at a very temperature, a very low temperature, it gets even more critical. But the technology is rising to the occasion, and it's all part of artificial intelligence and digital transformation within the healthcare system. And the the one company, sorry, not company, but hospital in the United States that is really tackling this really well is the Mayo Clinic, and they're just implementing a variety of digital therapeutics, overhaul of digital transformation overhaul. It's a huge investment that requires experts and time and money, and so I'm curious to see how it works out, because it's it's a long road, and it's probably very expensive. Not probably very expensive, it's incredibly expensive, but I think it's going to be far more expensive for the companies, the hospitals that don't begin now and are trying to catch up in 3 or 4 years. So I think that a lot of the players out there are at least beginning the process right now. In any case, that's pretty much all I had to talk about today, and I appreciate your time here, Guillermo, and pleasure to be on the show.